Better late than never, right? You guys are still requesting it, and I've actually got some time today, so I thought I would film my 2022 favorites video. I kind of get like some kind of way about filming a like yearly favorites video because I'm scared I'm gonna like forget something that I really liked during the year. I think I've covered most bases. So hopefully I haven't missed anything. My favorite mascara still is the Maybelline Sky High Lash Sensational Mascara. I've tried some others throughout the year and none just really compare. I believe this was also my favorite from 2021. It just lengthens, volumizes, doesn't flake, doesn't smudge on me. It's just really, really good. Not only for a drugstore mascara, but for a mascara across all price points, it's still my favorite. And then for foundations, I've tried a couple new ones last year, but none of them really stuck. None of them really compared to some of the ones that I just have used for years. So that's what I'm going to mention. I've kind of fell back in love with the Bare Minerals Bare Pro foundation, and I was using it in lieu of the number 7 Protect and Perfect because I was scared that this was going to get discontinued because it's like on sale a lot of places and the shades are really picked over. But I've heard that they're just repackaging it, so I hope that's the case because especially in the summertime when I'm outside a lot, I love this one for its longevity, its coverage, and its SPF 50. But in the interim, I've fell back in love with the Bare Minerals Bare Pro, which is what I've got on my face today. So I typically like to mix 1 pump of Fawn with 2 pumps of Flax, and this has got an SPF of 20 in it as well. It just covers really nice. It feels lightweight on the skin, and it looks really good throughout the day. So love this stuff, and those are kind of what I got for base products. I kind of go back and forth with the Dr. Jart. They reformulated their Premium BB Beauty Balm, which was in favorites of mine over the years. But I think this might be their 4th reformulation of that product. And I do like it, but it doesn't have kind of the longevity that the older one had. And also with the new one, I have to mix 2 shades. So I have to mix the Fair Light with the Fair Medium. It's this one right here. It's got nice hydration to it, and the finish is really pretty, but it doesn't quite have the longevity as some of the other ones. And I do like this product, but I loved the older versions of this more than this, so I use this on and off, but it's also got an SPF of 40, and it's nice for a BB cream, but I don't know why they reformulated it when it was so good to begin with. And then some concealer products. I fell in love with the Benefit Boing Bright On Concealer. This is in the shade Lychee, which is a really pink toned concealer, and it covers, like, I would say it's like a medium, cat in the window again. It's like a medium coverage, and it's got a really strong pink undertone, so it just does a really good job of kind of brightening up my under eye area, and I have a really pink skin tone, so I love this stuff right here. I should take my watch off so I can kind of swatch some of these together. I think you guys might find it helpful. I probably won't swatch everything because this video would be so long, but I will swatch these concealers. So this is again the Benefit Boing Bright On Concealer. And the consistency of it is beautiful. It blends beautiful. It looks really nice underneath the eyes. It's a thin texture. Doesn't feel drying. Adore it. And then another one is the Liss Triple Fix Full Coverage Brightening Concealer. I've got the shade LG1. I originally purchased this in the kind of pink toned one that was the lightest, and it always looked a little bit too dark, so I just got the lightest shade in the concealer range, and this one works a lot better for me. It's not as pink as I would like it, but I love the formulation of it. Same thing. It's like a medium, like, buildable coverage, really thin texture, feels really comfortable underneath the eyes. And it's just a really lovely concealer as well. I actually gave my darker one to my mom, and this is her current favorite concealer as well. So that's the LYS Triple Fix. It's really, really good. And then also I recently got another shade of the Born This Way Illuminating Smoothing Concealer from Too Faced. So I have Sugar and I have Oatmeal. They both have the pink undertone to them, and I like them mixed together the best for underneath my eyes. I might go back to Oatmeal with a dash of Sugar for the summertime, but this is another one that has nice coverage to it and feels really comfortable underneath the eyes. So that one right there is Oatmeal. And then I recently just got Sugar, which is lighter. So that one is Sugar. And when I use this concealer, I like to mix those 2 shades. And I can kind of adjust that mixture depending on like summer or winter or whatever too. And then I really liked the REM Beauty by the Ariana Grande brand. The pot concealers. I've got 2 shades here, which inside of my Ulta store, they didn't have the shades that I actually wanted to swatch. and I almost blind bought them online, but I just decided against it and decided to mix these two. It's a thicker consistency concealer, and you have to work a little bit to blend it out, but it sits really pretty underneath the eyes. So I've got the shade Fair CN right here. That one. And then again, I like to mix these two shades as well. And the other one is Light 7C, which has got a nice pink undertone to it. Right there. So I typically, when I use this, I like to mix those two shades. And that is the Rem Beauty Just Concealer. You can kind of see the color family there of those concealers. And I have noticed that the longer I've had the Rem Beauty concealer, it's the kind of thicker it's getting. So it is, I don't know, it's not necessarily drying out, but it's not quite as creamy as when I first bought it, which I guess it is in a pot, so that kind of makes sense. But I still do like that product for like a more full coverage under eye. And then for setting powders, I'm still head over heels for the Flower Nose powder. This is the Circus one in number 2 beige, and I've actually found I've got number 1 translucent and number 2 beige, and I've found that the beige shade actually has a tiny bit of brightness in comparison to the translucent, which is just really translucent. This one's got a tad, just a tad bit of brightness, but this powder is so undetectable on the skin. Mine's like this because I have powder in the lid because I kind of put some in there and I don't want to like tip it out. But I mean, the packaging is as cute as can be, and it almost like it blurs your under eyes so well. It has a really strong set for your concealer, and if like there's any like little bit of patchiness or something that looks kind of uneven in your concealer, this powder just fixes it. It's stunning. It's an absolute beautiful product. I have got several backups of this product. The translucent one comes in a carousel that's got blue on it, and this has a puff in it as well, and then you can pop the top open. It's one of those screen situations. I just pop it open. I pulled the sifter out of the other one just so I can dip my brush in it because it's just easier to coat the brush with the product that way. But this one I've just been kind of dusting it into the lid. If you're looking for an undetectable, super like beautiful under eye setting powder, that's it. And the other setting powder that I used an absolute ton is the Florasis Gorgeous Peach powder. This one also had one of those screen situations in it, and I pulled mine out. I have it in like a translucent shade and then also a purple tone shade, and I can use both of them. The purple one just has a little bit more brightness in comparison. Their packaging is beautiful. Their powders are beautiful. This one I would say has got just a little bit more, not really coverage, there's not like coverage, but a little bit more coverage in comparison to the Flower Nose product. But just some of the most beautiful powders I've ever put underneath my eyes, and I just can't get enough of those two. And then for setting all over the face, I'd gone through an absolute ton of powders last year, and a lot of them were ones I've repurchased, and I think I'd mentioned in like past videos, like the One Size, the Laura Mercier, some of those kind of ones. But a newer one that I'd gone through a ton of this past year is actually from Wet n Wild, and it's their Bare Focus Clarifying Finishing Powder. It's got vegan collagen, tea tree, and vitamin E in it. So I've got Fair Light, and I've also got the translucent version. And I find that the translucent version of this powder actually has a bit of a white cast to it, so I like to mix it with Fair Light, because setting my whole face with Fair Light, it actually oxidizes a little bit, so my face looks quite dark. So I like to mix these two together. And if you've watched that really big empties video that I did, you'll have seen that I'd gone through several of these in that video. And even though there's 0.27 ounces of product in each of these, I think it has more to do with like the density of the actual powder, because the pans are pretty thin. So that's why I kind of tend to go through them quite quickly. But it offers just a little bit of coverage. I feel like it helps when I have a little bit of breakout situation going on, and it just makes my skin look really, really nice. And it's just a beautiful setting powder from the drugstore, especially for like my acne prone skin. But you can see that white has got, you know, a little bit of cast to it, and then you can see the Fair Light version right there. But it's a really good one from the drugstore. I think you can't go wrong if you want to try it. I think it's like $4 or something. So that's the Wet n Wild Bare Focus Clarifying Finishing Powder. My package on this one broke, but it's that guy right there. And then for bronzers, I actually used up one of my favorite bronzers that I tried last year, and that was the Haus Labs bronzer, her revamped collection with Sephora, and I got the shade in the lightest one that they had available. I don't have the compact anymore after I did that empties video, and I'm thinking of repurchasing that bronzer in the second to the lightest shade, because I think I went through it a little bit quickly because I did get the lightest shade so I could really build it up easily, and I used more product like that. But the velvety texture, the blendability, the color, the tone, just a beautiful, beautiful bronzer from Haus Labs. So I don't have it to show you guys, but that was one of my favorite bronzers last year. And then another one that I really love is this one from M Cosmetics. It's called the Corselet Sculpting Powder Bronzer, and this is in the shade Slip. And it's a really neutral, really pretty, easy to apply and blend out bronzer as well. And I just really like this one too. You can see it doesn't have a ton of orange to it or a ton of red. It's just a really kind of neutral bronzy bronze kind of color, and I love this shade. This is in the shade Slip again. And then I still love my Gucci bronzer number 1. That is my, I think it's one of my all-time favorite bronzers, and I save it for special occasions. I've got just a bit of product around the rim, and if I wanted to I would have used through it a long time ago, but I have other bronzers to use as well, so I just kind of save that when I'm like going somewhere trying to be fancy or whatever. I'm gonna probably use it up this year though, because there isn't a ton left of that. But this M Cosmetics one, the Haus Labs one, and Gucci bronzer, absolutely beautiful. Finishing powder is also a broken record. I'm still using the Guerlain Meteorites as an all over buffing finishing powder, which is something that I have used for years and years and years. And I just take a big fluffy brush after I have all my face makeup on, and I buff it all over the skin, and it just really ties everything together. It's just a stunning product. And then for eyeliners, my favorite black liquid eyeliner is still the Essence Super Precise Eyeliner, $2.99 at Walmart. It has a brush applicator, super black, easy to use. I've been using that one for years. And then more recently, I've just fallen in love with using the Menagerie Velvet Liquid Lipsticks as eyeliner. You guys know I like to use like colored liner, and I love cake liners, but especially in the summertime, I can't use them because my eyes water so bad from like allergies, and those smudge too easy, and I haven't found a medium to mix with those that actually mixes in with the product to make them waterproof. I still toy around with my cake liners, mostly kind of in the winter, spring, late fall because my eyes don't water as bad because I'm not outside. But these liquid lipsticks right here have the most beautiful texture. They're creamy, they're thin, they set lovely, and they don't like run or budge on my skin, and I love using them as eyeliners. You can see I've got several shades here. I don't have the black because I actually used it up, and I loved using the black liner to mix with these other shades just to deepen them up if I wanted a little bit more of a rich kind of deepened red or deepened green or something like that. Like today I've got on Juniper mixed in with just a dash of the Haus Labs paint in black to kind of darken it a little bit. But the consistency of these is so, so nice. So I plan on getting the black again when they come back into stock, but really a good liquid eyeliner. They're liquid lipsticks, but they're one of my favorite products to use for colored liquid liner on the top lash line. And then same concept with these. These are the Haus Labs high power pigment paints. I've got 7. I've got 7 of them. I've got 2 of the shimmers, and the rest of them are in the matte formulation. Same thing with these guys. They're a little bit thicker in consistency when I compare them to like the Menagerie texture, but they also go on pretty nicely as well to wing out eyeliner, and they stay really well. They're kind of like budge proof, colorful liquid liners for the top lash line for me. And then I do the same thing. I've got the black, and I can mix the black with the blue or any of them actually to kind of deepen them up, or I also really like to wear them by themselves. I will say that the, which colors are these? The fuchsia and the, I think the deep amethyst, they will stain your skin, and I think it says on the website not for use on the eyes, and that's probably why, because it will stain your skin, especially this one right here. But this particular shade, the fuchsia matte mixed in with a dash of like this deep blue, is such a pretty color, but I have to be prepared when I wash my makeup off, because my lid will be, where the liner was at, would be stained like pink. But other than that, I really love these. As you can see, I've got several of them because they work really well for that winged colored liquid liner that I like for my super watery, annoying eyes. And then for liners for the waterline, I still am head over heels for the KVD Vegan Beauty longwear pomades. This is the one that I wear the most. It's in Power Green. It's what I have on my lower lash line as well. I've mentioned this product several times. I believe it's been in some favorites as well. And then these liners here, the multi-chromes from Kaleidos, have been super fun to use. They kind of have a deeper base to them. So what I like to do is I'll have a base layer of, say, like something like the KVD pomade, and then I go over it with one of these Kaleidos liners, and it just kind of pulls the multi-chrome a little bit brighter on the waterline for me. And they're really pretty multi-chrome liners. This is the shade 7Cs right here. And their packaging is really pretty. It's a twist up. I've tried a couple different brands of multi-chrome liners, and these ones have been the best out of the ones that I've tried, the Kaleidos ones. And then these Sephora liners, the 12-hour colorful liners, these are really nice as well. They're not as like budge proof as like the KVD pomade, but they're pretty good. They remind me mostly of the old Marc Jacobs Highliner gel crayons, which makes sense because Marc Jacobs products were made by Sephora, so I wouldn't doubt if it was like a super similar formula. But really fun colors too, and they last pretty good for a pencil liner for me. So that's the shade Peacock Blue, and then I've got Waterfall here. I've actually got quite a few of these. I think I've got 4 or 5 of them. That one there is Waterfall. But they last pretty good on the waterline as well. And then a couple of brow products here. I still adore the NYX Lift and Snatch Brow Tint Pen. I like to use the shade Taupe on the inner portion of my brow, and then Ash Brown on the kind of mid to outer portion of the brow. And I use those to kind of fill in the little bit sparse areas after I use the Lottie London Mega Brow Shaping Wax, and I've got the tinted version. This is the one that I've got backups of. This is my favorite product that I've tried like this, and I had gone like on a mission to try a lot of them, and this one is so good. Like my eyebrows, I can hike them way up there if I really want to because the hold is so good on it, and it also tints the hair, and it doesn't really grab onto the skin super easy. It just grabs onto the hairs really nice. So I've got that in my brow, and you can see this one's almost gone, and I've got 2 in the backup drawer because I just don't want to be without it. I just put a drop of water in the pan, and then I use a spoolie to mix it together and then comb it through the brows. And speaking of spoolies, I should mention these e.l.f. Brow Lift applicators. These are my favorite tools to use with like the waxy pomade products. Really nice little spoolie and a good spatula, and they're like $4 in comparison to some that I've seen that are like $20 plus. So I've got several of them because they get dirty, and then I wash them all at once and stuff like that. But they're really good and inexpensive as well. So those are what I use with the Lottie London product. And then prior to me getting the Lottie London, I have to also mention the e.l.f. Soap Brow, and this is just a clear kind of color. I've hit the bottom of the barrel on this one as well, and I used to take one of those little spoolies that I showed you from e.l.f. and then dip it into a dash of a powder to get it tinted. So I'd put the water in here, and then I'd mix it up in the spoolie with a little bit of a brow powder. I was using the e.l.f. Bite Size Brow for that back when I wanted that like lift with a little bit of a tint, because what I really wanted was this e.l.f. Soap Brow to be tinted. And it still does a really good job of like lifting and holding the brows. The Lottie London one though has a stronger hold than the e.l.f. one, but I still really enjoyed this product, so I gotta mention it. Next up, I've got highlighters. I fell in love with the Anastasia Beverly Hills stick highlighter in Pink Diamond. I have the gold, or I think it's like sun dripped one as well, which I like that too, but most in particular I've been using the Pink Diamond shade. And what I like to do with this, there's a little brush on one end of this product. I like to use this as a base on the top of my cheekbones to adhere other highlighters to. So my favorite like highlighters, some of my favorite highlighters are a Baked Jelly product, right? And as time has gone on, my skin's quite dry on the top of my cheeks, so those have a hard time adhering to that area. And using this as a base just really made me fall back in love with my Baked Jelly highlighters because they adhere better with this as a base. And the same thing goes true for the ColourPop Super Shock highlighters. I like several of those as well to use as a base for highlighters that I have a hard time getting to stick to my cheeks. Some of the other highlighters I'm going to show you here in a minute actually have kind of a binder in it where I don't need to use a base, which I also absolutely love. If I don't have to, you know, use a base and it has a bit of grip already, like great, right? So anyway, this is Pink Diamond right here. and I don't really use it too much by itself. I just like to use it as a base for other highlighters. And then I'm just going to twist it down so you can kind of see how much of this I've used. Really nice base product for how I like to use it with other highlighters. And then I've got the Odin's Eye Salmon Moonlight highlighters here. I love all of the shades, but these are my most worn shades. So I've actually got on Pink Star today, and these highlighters actually grip my skin without needing to use a base. So they've got a bit of a something that will bind to my drier skin where I don't have to use that base. So I absolutely love that about these. I think you can see right there, I've used an absolute ton of this as well. It's got like a really pretty kind of pink shift to it. So this one's Pink Star. And then this other one is Azura Shine, which has got a pretty blue, like purple shift to it. I like all of the highlighters from this collection, but these ones right here are my most worn. And they're really beautiful. So yeah, that's the one I've got on for highlighting my face today. And the packaging is really pretty. Just a stunning product from Odin's Eye. Also the Glamlight Kellogg's Frosted Flakes highlighter. This one grips to my skin without a base. Love that. And it's so intense and so blindingly shiny. I love this so much that I bought a backup. And it doesn't say on the actual packaging here how much product is in here, but there is quite a bit of product. So I think that probably buying a backup was a little bit unnecessary, but here we are. So this is it right here. Very shiny highlighter, and I've worn that a ton. You can see it's like super glazy. Such a good one. This is a loose highlighter too, if I didn't show you a good enough kind of visual there. Love that. And then I've got a couple multi-chrome highlighters. The Sugar Drizzle Darlin Nikki's My Lighter. Another one I don't have to use a base for. I can use a base and it will be super blinding because I've done that too, and I was like, whoa, they're seeing me in space, okay? But this is a really beautiful multi-chrome highlighter. Multi-chromes are super hard to kind of show up in front of like studio lights, but it's got this peach, gold, green like flip to it. It's stunning. I wonder if you can see it a little bit. Like, oh, that mirror's way too small. But it's just absolutely stunning. I actually want to buy a backup of this. And I bought that, the Trashed palette from them recently. And I don't know why. I wanted to get a backup the next time I bought something from Sugar Drizzle, and I forgot. But this is a beautiful highlighter. The Darlin Nikki's My Lighter. And then we've got the Kaleidos Gifted and Prophecy highlighters. The Gifted one is newer. And I believe I mentioned the Prophecy in 2021, if memory serves me correctly. But these are two multi-chrome highlighters that I've also used a ton this past year. They've got beautiful flips in them as well. So those have been kind of my most worn highlighter products. And then I also like to use Still Flexitarian from ColourPop. Just by itself is absolutely stunning. I gotta mention the Menagerie highlighters. This is the Arthurine or Aurora Australis highlighter. This is also very stunning, which I've also worn this one a lot too. One more that I almost forgot about. This is the Hard Candy Peach Please highlighter. I don't think that it was a 2021 product. I believe I got it in 22. Anyway, this is also a really blinding highlight that I don't need to use a base under, and it's stunning and it's super affordable. And I purchased it in store at Walmart. I haven't been able to find it online. I've only seen it in store at Walmart, but it's really pretty. It's got like that wet look, pretty shine to it as well. And I've used a ton of this guy as well. So that's the Peach Please highlighter. I've got a ton of blushes to show you guys. I love every single blush from Kaleidos from this collection, and I can't remember the name of it, but I've worn these such a ton. They're all matte blushes, but I'll show you my two most worn shades. I actually took it was a marker, a metallic marker, and I used that to write the name on there because that's the only place that I'd be able to know what shade it was. We've got Sunburnt. Okay, all three of these. I don't wear sanguine as much, but I love to wear this in like July in the heat of summer because it gives you a really pretty like sunburnt look to the skin. But I wear probably Ecstasy, Dream Walk probably the most. I think the embossing's almost out of them, but these are so beautiful. Like, I love them. I love them all. Such pretty colors. And then I know they're discontinuing this Item Beauty brand, but I got one of their cream blushes in Oopsies, and I've really enjoyed this blush. I've worn it a ton. It really gives that kind of beautiful, just out of the sun flush to the skin, and it is so, so thin. Like, it's a putty type of a texture, but the product itself, it almost, you can't like kind of detect it on the skin really well. It just kind of looks like your skin is actually that color. It's a really pretty product, and I'm kicking myself because they were recently on sale for like $10, and I wanted to get a couple more shades. And then I've been watching Hannah Louise Poston here on YouTube, and she was in the back of my mind, and I was like, just use the one that you have. Enjoy the one that you have. And I'm like, Tara, you're probably never going to be that person. Anyway, I didn't end up picking up any more, but I have really been enjoying using the shade that I have. Again, that's the Oopsies shade. You might be able to find them inside a Sephora still, because I was in the one in Bismarck, and they actually had this shade in stock at the store, I think like 2 weeks ago. And then my favorite kind of cream, like actual like liquidy cream type of blush has been these ones from Half Caked. I like quite a few of the shades, but my most worn shade is this Maybe Baby shade. And that's the blush that I have on my cheeks today. And it pounces over already set foundation really, really well. And it's such a beautiful baby pink color. So it's in a squeezy tube. So I'll put a dab right there. And then I'll blend it. And it just looks so punchy and pretty on the skin. I've worn that a ton. So that's the Half Caked Maybe Baby blush right there. Yeah, you can see I've used quite a bit of that. Then I've got a couple blushes from Flower Nose. Can't beat their packaging. It's stunning. I've got number 3 Classic Ballet. This is from their Strawberry Rococo collection. These are both matte blushes. And their blushes can run quite light. Just to make mention of that, they have some really, really light shades. These are 2 of the kind of more mid-tone, deeper shades that they have. And then I've got number 5. I can't read that. It's something peach, but this is number 5 from their Unicorn collection. And yeah, with that packaging, right? And this is a pretty peachy matte shade. Some of the best packaging in the business, man. So those are 2 from Flower Nose. And then I've got the ColourPop Prairie Air Pressed Powder Blush. Almost a dupe for the Dior. I've worn the horseshoe right out of that one. I think you can kind of see a little bit of a theme in the blushes here, but that's a really pretty blue-toned baby pink shade from ColourPop. Again, Prairie Air. And then a recent one that I just almost haven't been able to put this one down. This is the Moira number 4 Morning Sunshine. This had a pretty intense embossing on it, and I've almost got it flat. This is such a pretty blush. The texture of it is kind of a drier situation, but it sticks really well to the cheeks, and it's so like punchy. I have not been able to get enough of this guy. It's really, really pretty. So that one is from Moira. It's the Morning Sunshine blush. And then one of the new Benefit blushes in the shade Krista I've used a lot, and this is very intense as well, but so punchy and poppin', especially in the summertime. This one's got a slight sheen to it. It's so pretty. So that's Krista right there from Benefit. And then I have 2 blushes from Menagerie Cosmetics. We've got Best Buds, which has got a duochrome to it, and then I've got Rosebud Glow Blush. These are just both stunning. The Rosebud Glow Blush is a newer shade. I think I might have mentioned that one in my 2021 favorites, the Best Buds one, but I'll swatch them both. They're so pretty as well. They have a sheen to them with like a duochrome. This one's got like a purple kind of flip to it, and this one's like a orangey, peachy, like tangerine. And they're really, really pretty. So those ones are from Menagerie, and the packaging, again, very cute. And then lastly in Blushland, I've got two from Pat McGrath. These are her Divine Blush Duos. I've got Cosmic Coral and Venusian Sunrise. And I've worn both of these a ton. I think I've probably worn Cosmic Coral just a little bit more than Venusian Sunrise, but they're both very, very pretty blushes. So this is Venusian Sunrise, and this one right here is Cosmic Coral. And I've worn down the embossing in Cosmic Coral quite a bit. So, and I just mix them together when I use them as well. So that's Cosmic Coral, and that one's Venusian Sunrise. And I mean, you can really see a theme in my blush tastes based off of those swatches right there. But yeah, just beautiful blushes, all of those. I could probably talk about blush, highlighter, and eyeshadow all day. And then I also have the Benefit Cheek the Male Face Palette. You might be able to still find this around. It was a holiday launch, but I'd used it so much that I thought I should mention it. Benefit's new blushes, their box blush formula is really nice. And this one's got Tara in it, and then it's got Hula and Cookie highlighter. And they're all like full size as well. But this just provides the prettiest cheek. And I wore it quite a bit. Like I don't think you can even see the names that well inside. And I'm going to wear it a ton, I just know, in the summertime, because it gives that really pretty, like, flushed cheek, like out of the sun type of a cheek, which also, like, in the wintertime when I was wearing it, like, you know how your cheeks get a little red if you're in the cold? It kind of gave that look too. So I really liked this one from Benefit. And now for lip products, I've got quite a few. I'm going to swatch some favorites that are still current favorites, but I think I've mentioned them before as well, because then I can kind of show them next to some newer products that came out in 2022 that I also love. So still loving using Lady Bold Badass lip liner from Too Faced. It's what I've got on my lips today. So this is Badass from Too Faced. Love the formulation, love the color. It's really versatile. And then I've got on Cream Cup as well with that lip liner. You can really pull that Badass lip liner in either a warm or a cool direction. So here's Cream Cup. And then I'd gone through a couple Creme de Nudes this past year too. MAC just makes some of the best lipsticks in the business. So there's Creme de Nude. And then Kim KW from Charlotte Tilbury. This one's almost shot. A couple of these were in my empties as well. So there's Kim KW. And then I also went through one of the House of Sillage Nude Sakura shades. You're going to see a theme with my lipstick selections as well. So that one's Nude Sakura from House of Sillage. These are go-to, love them, absolutely beautiful lip products. And these products really are ones that I still continually use all throughout 2022, and currently, as you can tell, I've got a combo on of those as well. But for some newer products that really kind of stuck with me that I pull for as well, I've got this Maybelline Ultimate lipstick in the shade More Blonde 588. It's a matte lipstick. It's a silicone, like dimethicone formula that's very, very comfortable on the lips. And this is a pretty nude shade as well. So that one is More Blonde. And again, that's the Maybelline Ultimate. Is it Ultimate? I think it's called Ultimate. Yeah, it's the Ultimate lipstick. And then I've also loved all of these Anastasia Beverly Hills lipsticks too. So Haze, I think, is probably my most worn out of the bunch. So here's Haze. And this one is a cream lipstick formula. I only have one in the newer matte formulation. Otherwise, these are all creams. Then we've got Butterscotch. There's Butterscotch. And then we've got Tease. This is another one of my most worn shades. It's more pink. There's Tease. And then we've got Warm Peach. This is also a cream. And then my latest one with the matte formulation, which is again a dimethicone comfortable matte formula, is Hush Pink right here. And this is a really pretty matte lipstick too. Right there. I also wore this Huda Beauty cream lipstick in Empress a lot. The bad thing about these is they're so creamy. They get super messy because the bullets just can't hold up because the formula is really soft. But that's another one that I've worn a ton. So that's Huda Beauty Empress right there. Again, we have a theme, don't we? I went and wiped all those lip swatches off, and I forgot to swatch the Anastasia Beverly Hills lip liners because these have been a favorite all year as well. So what I'll do is re-swatch Badass from Too Faced kind of as a reference point there. And then I'll swatch the 5 lip liners that I have. Based off of the length, I think that Deep Taupe and Baby Roses and Sunbaked were my most worn. So let's swatch Baby Roses right here. And these are wooden style. So that one's Baby Roses. And then we've got Deep Taupe. And Sunbaked. I need to sharpen some of these. And then we've got Hazelnut. And also Muted Mauve, which I believe this is my newest one, is Muted Mauve, because she recently came out with new lipstick shades and then also lip pencil shades. But just really nice pencils, and they're quite long, so you're getting quite a bit of product, like they'll last you a while. So love those from Anastasia Beverly Hills. And then I've got some brushes here before we get into eyeshadows, which could be a whole situation, but BK Beauty brushes are just so good. I use this A504 brush every single day. I love it. The 109 brush has been my favorite to pounce on cream highlighter and also cream blush. It does a beautiful job of that. So I've actually got 2 of them here, one that I use for highlighter and one that I use for blush. And then also Sonia G brushes, cannot go wrong with them. Most in particular, I love this Lotus set. As you can see, I use this brush every single day. It's a flat shader brush. This is a really good blush brush, and like, how beautiful are these, right? And then also Refer brushes. This one right here is number 36. It's one of those shapes that I really like. It's great for applying eye primer, and it's also good for cream highlighter in like a little bit smaller areas or more precise application. But any of those brush brands that I just mentioned, you just kind of can't go wrong with. They're really lovely quality. The BK Beauty are super soft synthetics that have a textured end to them, so they pick up product really well, and they also buff it out lovely. And then the Sonia G and the Refer are natural bristle brushes with just absolute beautiful quality to them. All of those brushes are just so good. Now getting into some eyeshadows, and these are including but not limited to, because there are so many beautiful eyeshadows that came out last year. One of my favorite palettes from ColourPop, and one that I've used an absolute ton, is this Getting Fresh palette. Mine's kind of like dirty, but I absolutely love this color story, and the quality is just beautiful, and you really can't beat the price with such wonderful quality. Like, I've worn this palette so many times, and those really warm browns with these poppin' greens, stunning. I said I wasn't gonna like swatch stuff, but here I am. Yeah. It's one of my favorite mega palettes that ColourPop has done, is this Getting Fresh one. I keep missing out on the Aurora palette. The Aurora Struck one, it's like out of stock, and I'm like, I need that one. But I love that one. And then I know these next 2 palettes kind of got a bit of flack, but I love the looks that come out of them. And these are the Pat McGrath Bridgerton collaboration palettes. They've got Beige Gelée shades in there. A stunning color story. They're really easy to work with, and I particularly got along with them really well. I still use the CoverGirl and Olay Simply Ageless as a base, and these for me were wonderful. I still pull these guys out quite frequently, actually, because they're so easy to use with such a unique kind of look to them. And then we've got the Blend Bunny Cosmetics All Done Up 20 Shade Ultra Glam palette. So functional, such a great color story, like one and done looks if you were to use them kind of going down. I typically mix and match and stuff like that, but the curation of the colors and the finishes in this is just great. This is a really lovely palette from Blend Bunny Cosmetics. And then we've got the Cleona Dragon Fruit palette. Cleona shadows are some of my favorite in my collection. There's a bunch of multi-chromes in there. The hinge on my palette broke, so I'm trying to be careful here. And these are also magnetized, so you can pull them out. Well, let me swatch a couple of these guys for you. They're really, really beautiful. And then I've got a bunch of Odin's Eye palettes. I really fell head over heels for these palettes. I've got the Hella palette, which is the Angelica collaboration palette. It's this guy right here. another color story that's just right up my alley. Love that. Great mattes, great shimmers. A fun one this summer was the Solmon 2. I use this a lot as well. And then like coveted Prides of Joy, which I think that they should come back out with these because they're such unique, beautiful like color stories. And these are the Christmas Eve and the Merry Christmas palettes. They sold out really quickly. I know. I really think that they should bring them back. The color stories aren't just for Christmas. They're so unique and so pretty. I've also got this big Unearthly Cosmetics palette that I just love. I wish I would have bought a couple of these because they're like super big, and I love the little graphic on the front. And inside of here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5 Adept Cosmetics palettes, and another formulation I really, really love. I've kind of been buying all of their palettes recently. Let me swatch a couple of these. Isn't this so satisfying to look at, right? Just give you guys some swatches. I'm swatching all the shiny ones, go figure. But they're stunning. Right? Just beautiful. I love the Adept Cosmetics mattes, and also their like shimmery formula is stunning. And then another brand that has released several like palettes throughout last year that I love, like every single one of them, is Nomad Cosmetics. There's something about their formulation that just, I don't know, it has a bit of grunge to it, even though the shadows can be quite punchy. There's just something about them that I love. And then their shimmer shades, they look kind of wet on the lid, and they have a tack to them that really suspends the sparkles super well. So this is actually the palette that I've got on my eyes today. This is their Nomad Bosque Nuboso de Montverde. Probably butchered that. Intense color palette. With the exception of a matte brow bone, this is what I've got on my eyes. And I've actually worn this a lot. Like, there were really pretty like embossings in a ton of these pans, but I've since ruined them. And their mattes are pigmented and they blend out really well for me. So, I think it was 2021. I mentioned their Haunted Europe palette. That's one of my favorite palettes in my whole collection. I really want to do that video of like if I could only have 15 palettes in my collection, you know? And I'm like, challenge yourself and see if you can do it. Adore Nomad Cosmetics formulas. And then I have to mention this Fluorasis palette. This one here, oh, I don't know the name of it. Do I? The Chiyu makeup palette. It's like a fan. It's got a really pretty image on it. And then all of these shades are baked gelée. And then these sparkly shades are so stunning. And the embossing is really, really intricate. These are blushes. You can use them as eyeshadows too, which I have. And they're beautiful. The blushes are beautiful on the eyes and the face. Oh gosh, I'm running out of room. I feel like those swatches aren't really doing it justice, but those really pretty shiny baked gelée shades mixed with those baked gelée mattes just yield super wearable but really, really pretty eye looks. So I've loved and used this palette quite a bit as well. And then I kind of love and buy all of the Menagerie palettes when they come out. The most recent are the Paws and the Claws palette. I love the packaging and I love the color stories in here and the quality of the shadows. I have loved every single look that I've done with both of these palettes. This one right here in particular is a very unique color story, and every time that I use it, it looks different but so pretty. Like, I've worn this like quite a few times, and it's not that old because it came out I think around Thanksgiving, but it's got stunning like duochromes in there and mattes, and they blend really well. Oh. They're really, really pretty. And then I'll swatch a couple shades from the Paws palette too. Like, how stunning, right? I love these palettes. Hopefully I'm not kicking myself too bad when I edit this about like, you forgot this shadow and that shadow and that. But I've got some fragrances to share with you guys, actually quite a few of them. I believe all of these came out last year. They're all from the House of Sillage and they're all stunning 2-3 spritzes. because the perfume oil concentration is so high, you just don't need a lot. But this one here is the Whispers of Truth Noir. The Whispers of Truth Original is one of my favorite fragrances too. This one's just a little bit deeper, kind of one to wear more so in the winter time. I've actually got this on today. It's stunning. And then I've got the Sweet Dreams from the Sweet Atelier collection. You can see I've used up quite a bit of this guy. I can say this about every single one of these fragrances. They're all so, so pretty. The first one is a little bit like deeper, and these next four, including the Sweet Atelier, are sweeter kind of gourmand fragrances. But both the Hufflepuff perfume and the Gryffindor perfume, if I ever want like an uplift in my mood, spraying these will do that for me. It's a sweet kind of gourmand, but it's not like overpowering, and it has a really interesting twist to it, kind of all of these do. And then Gryffindor is also a really stunning fragrance from them. So the Minnie Mouse fragrance from the Disney collection. This one really reminds you of, like, I don't know, walking into a candy shop, but it's not like overbearing to me. So I actually have the travel perfume, and I've almost used that one up. So I've kind of been savoring this guy because the bottle on all of these is so pretty. But that one there is stunning too. And I think this one keeps selling out a lot. I've been trying to catch all of these on a good sale because I want backups of them all. So those are all new 2022 perfumes from the House of Sillage. I really like the Batman one too. I think that one came out last year as well. That's a really pretty, like, deep, dark, like, really pretty scent. It reminds me of a cologne, which I like to wear colognes too. But other than that, old favorites here that I wear a ton as well. Vanilla del Madagascar from I Profumi di Firenze, and the Seven Virtues Vanilla Woods. Both sweet vanillas, but not like overpowering. They almost have like a bit of uniqueness to them as well, but they are like a really sweet vanilla. I've gone through several bottles of these guys too. Their bottles aren't as fancy as the House of Sillage, so I don't feel so bad about using them up. I thought I was all done, and I turned the camera off and I ran over to my mom's to have dinner, and I was like, I didn't mention any skincare products. So I'm back over here. I turned the camera back on, checked my teeth, make sure there's nothing in there. And I've got a couple skincare products. A lot of the skincare products that I'm still rebuying and using are ones that I have talked about a lot, and they have been in favorites videos in the past. And then also, if you're curious to see like how many I've used of certain things, you can watch that Empties video, which was, I think I did a month ago or so. And then a new hair care product I've really been enjoying, and I'm going to repurchase as well, which is I guess an honorable kind of mention, is the Gisou, Gisou leave-in hair treatment. I really have been enjoying that for a leave-in conditioner. I feel like it nourishes my hair and hydrates it so that I have a lot less frizz. I'm almost out of my bottle of that, so I'm going to repurchase that Gisou again as well. And then I've got the Auric Bare Plush Ritual Ceramide Lip Treatment. One of the prettiest, nicest lip masks that I've tried, and I've tried quite a few. This has got one of the prettiest vanilla fragrances like in it. It doesn't taste or anything like that, but every time I put it on, I get a whiff of it, and it brings me joy, on top of the actual product being very, very nice. It's got like a nude hue to it, which kind of blocks out a little bit of my natural pigment. This here is, I want to say, the third one. The third or fourth one I've been through, which is the only downside is it's pretty pricey and you're not getting a ton of product for your money, especially in comparison to other lip masks. There's only 0.11 ounces of product, and typical lip mask sizes are 0.5, so like 5 times the amount of product in a normal lip mask, which that's the only downfall. And I was telling myself, you know, once I used up, I think I ended up overall purchasing like 6 of these because I bought backups during the holidays and stuff like that, that I wasn't going to buy it again until it came out in like a refill or something, because it's really expensive and I go through it super quickly because there's not a lot of product in there. But the product is beautiful, and there's 2 other shades currently as well, which I'm tempted to kind of look into. But there's a little mirror, and then there's a jade spatula in there too, so that you can apply it if you don't want to use your finger. But it is a lovely, lovely product. Like I said, there's a couple of these in my empties, and I think maybe it's the 4th one. I think it's the 4th one that you can see this one's almost used up as well. Really great though. That's from Auric, and this one here is the Bare shade, and it's the Plush Ritual Ceramide Lip Treatment. And then also the Naiad Fractionated Eye Contour Concentrate. I use this as my first layer of eye product both morning and night. It's kind of like an oil serum, and it doesn't like leak into your eye either like some oils can do, and I feel like it provides a really good base for thicker creams. And this is my second bottle of this one too. And then another pretty new product is from Pharmacy, and this is the Wake Up Honey Eye Cream, and mine is almost done. I use this every single morning underneath, no, not underneath, over the top of the Naiad serum that I just showed you guys, but that's how much is left of mine. It's got a beautiful texture, and it's really, really hydrating, and makeup blends over the top of it really, really nice. So I do plan on getting another one of these guys when it's up as well. I like the Paula's Choice Vitamin C Eye Serum too. I should go grab that. That's a really nice product as well. It has a little bit thicker texture in comparison to the Pharmacy, but I used up I think half of that one as well, and I like to still use that one. That's a really good kind of vitamin C that didn't irritate my eyes, but currently I'm very, very in love with this Pharmacy Wake Up Honey Eye Cream. I've been using it every single morning, and I love it. So I've got it underneath my concealer today. It's a great one. I love Pharmacy products. And then my other skincare products, like I said, Pixi, Glow Recipe, CosRx. I really like the cleanser from Refer. I bought backups of that one, and I just finished my first one. It lasted a really long time. I love that product. I almost forgot to mention this palette as well. This is in the highlighter category. This is the Blend Bunny Cosmetics Noctilucent Highlighter Palette. It's kind of a duochrome palette where all the powders look like they're kind of white, but they all have different shifts, and it's very, very, very sparkly. I have worn this an absolute ton since I've gotten it as well, and I can wear all of them, all 5 of those as highlighters, and then I can toy around or use this one as kind of a blush topper, this darker one. But I have worn this a ton since getting it, and I love it. And I almost forgot to mention it. See, when I'm editing this, I just know I'm going to be like, you forgot this and you forgot that. So this is a really good one. Again, that's Blend Bunny Noctilucent highlighter palette right there. It's very, very pretty. And that's everything that I can think of from 2022 that I just used a ton and are like my favorites. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to wear sunscreen, and I will see you guys later. Bye.